Good morning, India. Yes, it is the correct position. Good morning, India. Good morning, humanity. It is already 11:30 and it is hot. It is autumn in Bengal and it is much more humidity just because of climate change. I have to continue the discussion on Rabinda Tagore, who is the protagonist of Universal Brotherhood and who considered India the greatest pilgrimage of humanity, which merged so many streams of humanity, and which is the land occupied with the people, the masses, with the inherent diversity and pluralism. And today I have to discuss Rabindra Sangeet, the music which liberated women. Tagore liberated women in music. That's it. In Bengal, we are degenerated people. We have been decultured, and a large chunk of Bengali population has been converted into refugees. They are deprived of citizenship. They have lost their mother tongue. They have no civic or human rights, and Bengal is suffering from lots of problems. And it is the land of unemployment, and the people have to suffer. But even after partition, after 70 years of partition, both parts of Bengal, Bangladesh as well as West Bengal, are united. They have a common bond of fraternity, and that bond remains always Rabinda Sangeet. Rabindra Sangeet is more popular in Bangladesh. We celebrate just one day for Rabindra Jayanti, and Bangladesh celebrates Rabindra Jayanti 2 weeks. And every woman in Bengal sings Rabindranath, learns Rabindranath. They are not professional artists. They are not. They have no expertise in Hindustani classical music, which is all about Rabindra music. And I am introducing SabitBabu. I have discussed about her. She is my life partner, and whatever I write and whatever I speak, she has always been with me, and she sacrificed her career as a teacher for me. Just I shifted in Bengal, and we could not get a job for her, and she had been a teacher, and she underwent open heart surgery in 1995. In June 1995, Dr. Devi Shetty was the surgeon, and she had a tumor right into her heart. And after that, Rabindra Sangeet has become her survival kit, and she is belated to learn Rabindra Sangeet. She learned Rabindra Sangeet after 50 years, and she celebrates life. The Rabindra Sangeet is celebration of life. I would ask SabitBabu to sing something.
গ্রাম ছাড়া ওই রাঙা মাটির পর আমার মন ভুলায় রে, গ্রাম ছাড়া ওই রাঙা মাটির পর আমার মন ভুলায় রে।
I have asked her to sing it bindas because it is not classical Rabindra Sangeet, it is the Rabindra Sangeet of the masses. what is Rabinda Sangeet? Tagore was a prolific composer with 2,230 songs to his credit. His songs are known as Rabinda Sangeet, which merges fluidity into his literature, most of which poems are part of novels, stories, or plays alike were lyricized. Influenced by the Thumri style of Hindustani music, they ran the entire gamut of human emotion, ranging from his yearly dirge like Brahmo devotional hymns to quasi-erotic compositions. They emulated the tonal color of classical ranges to varying extents. Some songs mimicked a given raga's melody and rhythm faithfully. Others newly blended elements of different ragas. Yet, about 9/10 of his works was not bhangagan. The body of tunes revamped with face value from select Western, Hindustani, Bengali folk and other regional flavors external to Tagore's own ancestral culture. Scholars have attempted to gauge the emotive forces and ranges of Hindustani ragas. And I have to say, the theme of Rabinda Sangeet is humanity. And Rabinda Sangeet is ordinarily divided into two parts: Puja Parv, which is called spiritualism, and second is Prem Parv, the love. What I think, if the women in Pakistan, they try to learn Rabinda Sangeet, it would be rather easier to solve Indo-Pak bilateral relations. It is such a forceful in India. Even during the struggle of freedom, Gandhi used to sing Rabinda Sangeet, Ekla Chalo Re. And
তোরে ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলো রে একলা চলো একলা চলো একলা চলো একলা চলো রে যদি তোরে ডাকি শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলো রে.
And now, it is festival in Bengal, it is festive season in Bengal, the autumn is there, the mood is of celebration. Our rituals, our religion, our day-to-day life, our economic activities are related to harvesting. I have been insisting that agrarian communities, nature-associated communities make the production system. Indian production system is essentially agrarian, and those people are essentially religious people. Their religion is all about love, all about the philosophy of our son, Fakir, Baul and Pir. They preached love, only love. It was never hatred. Islam entered in India for 1000 years, and all along this 1000 years there had not been major riot, major conflict, despite 700 years of Muslim rule in India. It began with British Raj because the peasantry had been always in rebellion. There were continuous uprising, insurrections from Chuad Vidrah during East India Company and right into the time of the greatest Holocaust partition and population demography, the transfer of population, as the Tebaka movement was continuous in Bengal, Bihar, Nepal, and eastern part of India. This is the basic cause, because the peasantry had to be divided, and the ruling hegemony divided them with religious identity. This is a vertical partition, and this phenomenon of vertical polarization on religious ground or the caste war is to kill the peasantry, and the peasantry has to commit suicide, and because we have lost our production system, we have no relations in between the communities, because the production system was shared by different culture, different religion, Hindus, Muslims, Sikhs, Buddhas, Christians, and all of them, and we have the largest number of small industries, and this free market of economy has killed the small industries as well, industries in general. As in Bengal, all 56 mills and production units and plants have been closed down. Our people have not the scope to amend the relationship, and that's it. And I was insisting that Rabinda Tagore liberated women in music, and last evening my friend from New Delhi, eminent journalist Dalit Mandal, asked me a question whether Rabinda Tagore supported the cause of Ambedkar. Has he written something about Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, or had they any correspondence at all? Later in the evening, I asked Dr. Anand Teltumde these questions, and he denied. He said, not at all. Neither Rabindranath supported Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, nor they had any correspondence at all. We would discuss it later, but the fact I want to insist on, Ambedkar met Perrier, and it was a messy meeting. Perrier movement is something different in Tamil Nadu. Ambedkar never quoted Ayush, the Dalit icon in Tamil Nadu, and Ambedkar never remembered Ayankali from Kerala, who led peasantry and the working class as well, and he was successful to mobilize the first trade union movement in India. He is the father of trade union movement in India. And in Bengal, the Jagannath Mandal and Mukund Bihari Malik got elected Baba Sahab to the Constituent Assembly, and they were the followers of Harichan Thakur and Guruchan Thakur. And I want to say, as Mahatma Jyotiba Phule and Savitribai Phule educated the Dalit women, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar and our Masihaj of Renaissance in Bengal, they talked about the liberation of women, and Harichan Thakur way back in 19th century, even before Renaissance, who educated the Dalit women before Jyotiba Phule.
শুধু আলো আধারে কাদা ভাষা শুধু যাওয়া.
It means this question is irrelevant. Let me say, I would be reading from my Rabindra ka Dalit Vimarsh letter in this serial. The fact is, if you speak about Dalit literature in Bengal, in India or in Bengal, and if Dalit literature is all about of the flight of the outcast excluded communities in India, then Rabindra literature and Rabindra Sangeet is essentially the original Dalit literature, because it is the plight of the Pirali Brahman, the untouchable Rabindranath, who expressed himself in poetry, and he spoke humanity, and he spoke about the grand ocean of humanity, and who said, Hemor Durbhaga Desh, যাদের করেছ অপমান অপমানে হতে হবে তাহাদের সবার সমান. That's Rabindranath. And the cause is very much important. Our icons, Guruchan Thakur, Periyar, Ayankali, Ayush and Ambedkar, they were not interrelated. In many cases, Ambedkar had no interactions with them, as Ambedkar had no interactions with tribal leaders, and OBC communities, only exception is the Valmikis, who supported Baba Saheb during round table conference in London way back in 1932, and that round table conference put Baba Saheb Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Rather, Gandhi was much more associated with Rabindranath Tagore, and I say you have to understand one thing. Rabindranath was not a Marxist, not even a socialist. He was a Gandhian in that way, if we analyze his philosophy, but more than that, he was humanitarian. He did not adopted the scientific method to see life and the problems of man and nature, but he visited Russia, and he was impressed with the development, the Soviet development model, and then he spoke about the plight of untouchables in his letters from Russia. He spoke that these people who are outcast, who have been excluded, they are the basic people who are responsible for the evolution of civilization. They are the pillars of light for civilization, and without equality, without justice, this humanity is not relevant at all. As Baba Sahib launched a movement against the purity of water, against the exclusion of Dalits and outcast people from the sources of water. Rabindranath wrote Chandalika, and his major poems ends in Buddham Sharanam Gacchami. This is the Buddhist legacy of Bengal. This is the Buddhist legacy of India, which Rabindranath was voicing. Then
আলোয় আলোয় এই আকাশে আমার মুক্তির আলোয় আলোয় আমার মুক্তি ঘাসে ঘাসে আমার মুক্তি ধুলায় ধুলায় ঘাসে ঘাসে এই আকাশে আমার মুক্তি আলোয় আলোয় আমার মুক্তি সর্বজনের মনের মাঝে দুঃখ বিপদ তুচ্ছ করা কঠিন কাজে বিশ্বদাতার যজ্ঞশালা আত্মহোমের বন্দি জ্বালা জীবন যেন দিয়াহুতি মুক্তির আশে এই আকাশে আমার মুক্তি আলোয় আলোয়.
Beautiful, Savita Babu. Thanks, Savita Babu, for this beautiful song. What I was insisting on, we have a common legacy. If you see the document related to the maiden speech of Baba Sahab Dr. B.R. Ambedkar in the Constituent Assembly, he was talking about reconciliation of the warring camps which were responsible for the partition of India. He told that there are three ways. One way is that other communities, other classes have to be subordinated to the ruling hegemony. That's the one way. Another way, that we should opt for reconciliation, we should opt for negotiations, we have to opt for unity and integrity, and that is the only way of making India. He was speaking about making the future of India, and he insisted that we have to be united with our inherent diversity, inherent pluralism. And this inherent diversity and inherent pluralism have been subjected to attacks by those who preach blind nationalism, those who preach hatred beyond the border. And unfortunately, those reactionary forces are leading the open market economy converted nations and the universe. And hence it is the religious polarization. The unification is the necessity, and the Aryans realized it first. They wrote all the books dubbed as holy books with the singular goal to unify the Aryan, non-Aryan and Dravid societies in India. And Rabinda Tagore relied on Upanishad. He did not glorify the Vedas. In nowhere in Rabinda works we see quotes from Vedas. Even he did not glorify Manusmriti. He did not quote Brahman or Satpat Granth, only Upanishads. And when I discussed it with Dr. Anand Piltumde last evening, he said, coincidentally, as Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was contradicting the myths of Hindutva, the myths of the Holy Script, he relied on Upanishads. Because the Upanishad is not an Brahminical affair, it had been contributed by different classes, different communities, representing pluralism and the vivid culture of India. And let me say, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar opposed the Purans which had been written even recently during the Muslim ages in India. For example, the episode of Sati. There have been so many Sati queens at Kalighat. Kalighat was not a Sati pit. Dakshineshwar is not a Sati pit, but Kalighat is included in the clan of Sati pit, which was discovered with the discovery of Kolkata, where that 300 years only. And hence, Tagore was speaking about Upanishad, which is all about the unification of India. It might be that Periyar launched a different movement in Tamil Nadu. It might be Guru Chan Thakur never contacted Ambedkar. It might be that Dr. Ambedkar never recognized the contribution of Payankali. It might be that Tagore never wrote in support of Dr. Ambedkar. But the cause was the same. The cause was the destination of unity, justice and equality.
আধারের গায়ে গায়ে পরশ তব সারা রাত ফোটাক তারা নব নব আধারের গায়ে গায়ে পরশ তব সারা রাত ফোটাক তারা নব নব নয়নের দৃষ্টি হতে বুঝবে কালো যেখানে পড়বে সেথায় দেখবে আলো ব্যথা মোর উঠবে জ্বলে ঊর্ধ্ব পানে ব্যথা মোর উঠবে জ্বলে ঊর্ধ্ব পানে আগুনের পরশমণি ছোঁয়াও প্রাণে এ জীবন পূর্ণ করো এ জীবন পূর্ণ করো এ জীবন পূর্ণ করো এ জীবন পূর্ণ করো দহন দানে আগুনের পরশমণি।
It was planned that Sabitbabu may interrupt any time when she feels that she has to interrupt, and even she can overlap. I was talking that Rabinda Sangeet was mainly divided in two parts. The Puja Parv. The Puja Parv, it began with Brahma Sangeet, and Rabindranath was trained in Brahma Samaj environment because his father Maharshi Devendranath Thakur was one of the leader of Brahma Samaj. And
হে সখা মম হৃদয়ে রহ সংসারের সব কাজে ধ্যানে জ্ঞানে হৃদয়ে রহ নাথ তুমি এসো ধীরে সুখ দুঃখ নয়ন নীরে লহ আমার জীবন ধীরে হে সখা মম হৃদয়ে রহ।
This is Brahma Samaj, which was the unification approach, the attempt of unification approach. The Indian Renaissance began with Brahma Samaj movement, and mind you, Rabindranath Tagore's family migrated from East Bengal, as his forefathers worked for Nawab's Darbar, and those forefathers had been made outcast just because they smelled beef which was being cooked up in the kitchen of the Nawab, and he had been declared that their dharma was corrupted and they were in contact of Muslim. The Pir means the worshipper of Islam, and Pirali it means Islamic. So it means Pirali Brahman means Islamic Brahman. So I have earlier told you that one stream of Tagore family way back in East Bengal, they converted to Islam. Another stream of Rabinda family which stayed there, they had no roti betis relations with Brahmins, and they married to Dalit girls, and they remained Dalits in East Bengal. And to get rescue from that gas chamber, Tagore family migrated one of the three villages of Kolkata, Govindpur, and Prince Dwarkanath Thakur got the contract of Fort William, and that gentleman had stakes in London Stock Exchange, and he was so much so rich that they won Jamidaris in East Bengal, and Maharshi Devendranath Thakur was a Jamidar. Even Rabindranath Thakur was a Jamidar. And even after and before Rabindranath got Nobel Prize, he was untreated, untouchable. It is the plight of an untouchable. It is his pain. It is his passions of deprivation which is expressed in Chandalika, in Hemor Durbhagades, and in his all the dramas in poetic form, in Syama, in Sapmochon, in Chandalika, in Visarjan, and so on. And even in Gitanjali, he was speaking the Devota Ache Mondi, Devota Achen Mondi Salai. Ami Bratto, Ami Mantrahin, Ami Jatihara. It was the theme, and this theme is equivalent to the with the plight of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, which I was speaking, and Mr. Dilip C. Mandal has the objection. The unification began afresh during the Brahma Samaj movement because the concept of Brahma Samaj was the concept of the merger of humanities, the merger of faith, the merger of religious principles. And Brahma Samaj, the Brahma Dharma is consisted of Islamic principles, the principles of Christianity, and those who opted for Brahma Samaj movement, they were declared millets and they were denied roti and beti from the elite Bengali Brahmins. And it is more explained in Sharat literature. If you read Sharat literature, especially the Grihadaho, and even any novel of Sharat Chand, there is a clash between Brahma Samaj and the Kulin Brahmins, and Sharat Chand had a sympathy with the Kulin Brahman, and he always, in every condition, in every situation, he supported the woman, he supported the cause of the liberation of women, and Rabindranath Tagore is the person who made way for the liberation of women in music.
কোন গোপন বাঁশির কান্না হাসির গোপন কথা শুনি বারে 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 কান পেতে রই আমি কান পেতে রই ও আমার আপন হৃদয় গহন দ্বারে বারে বারে কান পেতে রই আমি কান পেতে রই।
In his maiden speech in Constituent Assembly, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar called for unification, reconciliation and negotiation to unify India, to make an independent, sovereign India, to make a democratic republic India. And he confessed that India is divided. India is divided in religion. India is divided in caste. India is divided in identities. And he spoke that we are the warring camps. We are sitting to decide what should be the framework of constitution, and the basic concern of the Constituent Assembly was to unite India with inherent equality, inherent diversity, and specifically Dr. B.R. Ambedkar worked for social, economic and political justice. And Tagore's literature is all about that. Tagore is speaking all about that, and I have to clarify why he did opt for Gandhian way. Because Gandhi introduced Ram in Indian politics. Gandhi was speaking Hindu. He was the original Hindu, and he was the Asli Hindu. And after Gandhi, no Hindu was born in India. Whoever was born in India, he is not Hindu. He is a Bajrangi. He is a communal. He is a Hindu fanatic, not a Hindu who speaks of dharma. And the dharma practiced by the politicians who speak dharma is in fact practicing adharma. The Yaks Prashna in Mahabharata, all the questions asked by Yaks to Yudhishthir was the definitions of dharma, religion. And Gandhi's religion, Gandhi's Hindutva was about indigenous production system, about the dignity of labor. और गांधी कहा करते थे कि अगर बिना श्रम के खाना हराम है और विनोबा भावे को भी सूत काटने की पर्याप्त मजदूरी न मिलने के कारण भूखों रहना पड़ता था। गांधी ने उनकी सेहत के बारे में बताया तो उन्होंने कहा बिना मेहनत खाना हराम है और मुझे सूत काटने से जितनी मजदूरी मिलती है मैं उतना ही खाता हूँ। उसके बाद गांधी ने मजदूरी उनकी बढ़ा दी। Then Gandhi was defending the rights of the workers. Ambedkar was defending the rights of the worker. Gandhi's religion, Gandhi's Hindutva was all about the singular concern, singular commitment of unification of India. So that while Ambedkar insisted on separate electorate, Gandhi thought it would be the cause of partition in Indian masses because most of the demography is Hindu. If the Dalits and caste Hindus are set apart, then it would be a further partition of India. And he tried unification. It was his attitude, it was his approach. We don't support Gandhi, and we consider the Pune Pact is the root cause of all this identity war, all this caste war, all this religious polarization for the Mandal versus Kamandal fight. But it was the approach of Gandhi, and Rabindranath Tagore was influenced by Gandhi, because Gandhi was trying to unite India on the forum of Congress, which was supported by Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. Yes, I welcome Prime Minister Narendra Modi's initiative to declassify the classified Netaji documents, as I welcomed the initiative taken by Ms Mamata Banerjee to declassify the Netaji documents. We have to go back in history. Gandhi tried to unite India, and Ambedkar was the leader of one of the warring camps in India, as Dr. Ambedkar confessed in Constituent Assembly. Hence, Gandhi, Rabindranath Tagore did not consider to contact him, and we should understand his point of view, and we should consider. But I again insist, the cause of Gandhi and Ambedkar, the cause of Rabindranath Tagore was the cause of unification of India in pluralism and in diversity, and they intended to get the goal of social, political and economic justice. The problem and the unprecedented violence we see is all about the denial of those rights, the equality, the justice. The equality is denied, justice is denied, and we have no production system at all. Let Sabitbabu sing.
এমনি খেলার ঢেউয়ের দোলে খেলার পারে যাবি চলে পারে যাবি পালের হাওয়ার ভরসা তোমার পালের হাওয়ার ভরসা তোমার করিস নে ভয় পথের করি না যদি রয় সঙ্গে আছে বাঁধন নাশা ভোলা মনের ভোলা মনের স্রোতে ভাষা গানেরও ভেলায় বেলা বেলায় প্রাণেরও আশা ভোলা মনের স্রোতে এ ভাষা গানেরও ভেলায়।
Now, everybody is interested to discuss the scandals, the love scandals. Romanticism is not so a negative point. As Amar Sonar Bangla, Ami Tomai Bhalobasi, it is a romantic poem, and it was the stimulant in the struggle for freedom in Bangladesh. Lakhs of Bangladeshi people led their life singing this song, and it ultimately became the national anthem of Bangladesh. And what was Renaissance, the original Renaissance in Europe, in Italy, after the 100 years crusade? It was a romantic upsurge, it was a romantic movement. Wordsworth, Keats, Coleridge, and Shelley, and those poets from Italy and France, they were speaking about romanticism. And what is romanticism about? It is the expectations, aspirations and dreams of individual. It is the fight for the right to citizenship, the sovereignty of citizenship, because it was a feudal setup of production system which denied citizenship, which denied sovereignty, which denied right to any individual, right to his civic and human rights, right to his privacy. It was there, and hence it was progressive. Our sadhu, sant, fakir, their movement, the bhakti andolan, they denied the supremacy of the king, the ruler, and they sang praising the God, and because it was the denial of the regime, it was the denial of the state power, and it ultimately empowered the individual. And Rabindranath is speaking about love, and we don't discuss about the phenomenon of love, and we discuss and we live in an environment of hatred. It is not eternal love at all, it is eternal hatred. As we are more interested to know about the romantic life of Rabindranath Tagore, his relations with Lady Ranu Mukherjee, and about the lady from Latin America whom Tagore met, and he wrote his poem Camellia, and then he wrote Chini Go Chini.
আমি চিনি গো চিনি তোমারে, ও গো বিদেশিনী, তুমি থাকো সিন্ধু পারে, ও গো বিদেশিনী। ভুবন ভ্রমিয়া শেষে আমি এসেছি তোমারি দেশে, আমি অতিথি তোমার দ্বারে, ও গো বিদেশিনী, আমি চিনি গো চিনি তোমারে, ও গো বিদেশিনী।
And this is Tumi Thako Sindhu Pare. That is very important line. That is very most important phrase in this song. Because the love is beyond the border. The love touches the heart. It is the interaction of hearts beyond border, beyond ocean. Rabin's poem, Rabin's Prem Parv in his Rabindra Sangeet is all about the love which is across the borders, which unites East Bengal and West Bengal despite the political border. And Rijwana Banna or our Suchitra Mitra or Kanika Bandabadhai or Indrani or any other artist either from Bangladesh or from India, they sing in a singular tone tuned with love. This love is eternal.
ঘরের চাবি নিয়ে যাবি কে আমারে, ভেঙে মোর ঘরের চাবি নিয়ে যাবি কে আমারে, ও বন্ধু আমার, না পেয়ে তোমার দেখা একা একা দিন যে আমার কাটে না রে, ভেঙে মোর ঘরের চাবি নিয়ে যাবি কে আমারে।
Yes, this chabi, this key is the key of the doors of all the closed doors of human heart and mind. We can open every door of every individual heart, every individual mind with this single key, and that key is love. We are amidst unprecedented violence, we are amidst ethnic cleansing, we are amidst genocide culture, and the hatred campaign continues, and the killing is supported, boosted with systematic campaign launched by hegemony. in social networking, in writing, and the ministers are speaking hatred. The religious persons, the sadhu, sant and sadhavi are preaching hatred. It is the time. And hence Rabindranath is much more relevant in this turbulent time, and in that time the forces of hatred, the forces of fascism, the governance of fascism, which intend to rewrite history, they are charging Rabindranath with sedition, and they are trying to prove that Rabindranath was a British agent and Gandhi was a British agent. We have to resist this campaign, and hence I have planned this serial of video. Now Sabitbabu would sing, and then I would discuss two major films on Rabindranath's work, Chkher Bali and Charulata, which deals with the liberation of women. And then Sabitbabu would sing Grame Gram Chhada. That will conclude the video. Sing.
তুমি কেমন করে গান করো হে গুণী, আমি অবাক হয়ে শুনি, কেবল শুনি। তুমি কেমন করে গান করো হে গুণী, সুরের আলো ভুবন ফেলেছে, সুরের হাওয়া চলে গগন বেয়ে, পাষাণে টুটে ব্যাকুল বেগে ধেয়ে বহিয়া যায় সুরের সুরধ্বনি। তুমি কেমন করে গান করো হে গুণী। নমস্কার।
No. Okay. Then let me conclude. As Sabitbabu sang in this way, it is the theme of Rabindra Sangeet. It is the theme of liberation of women. And you would be glad our women, the modern woman, is habitual to walk on ramps. And the fashion roots in Thakur Parivar. Way back in 18th century, when the woman, Indian woman, was not habitual to use blouse or ready-made suits, it was the Thakur Parivar which introduced the blouse and the ready-made suits. Binodini, the protagonist in Chkher Bali, and Charulata, the protagonist in Charulata, are striking examples of empowerment of women, the free woman. Asalata in Chkher Bali is the married wife. She is socially recognized. Binodini is the widow, and he is not recognized. Binodini is a rebel. He does not care for the society. That's a story, and Rabin supports her. And Charulata has got an extramarital relationship, and that extramarital relationship is also discussed in Ghare Baire by Satyajit Ray film on Rabindranath work, and I would be discussing Ghare Baire differently. I have to discuss Chkher Bali and Charulata. Chkher Bali literally translated to sand in the eye, figuratively to constant irritant, is a Bengali drama film based on the novel Chkher Bali by Rabinda Tagore. It was directed by Rituvarna Ghosh in 2003 and starred Prasenjit as Mahendra, Aishwarya Rai as Binodini, and Raima Sen as Ashalata. Ashalata and Binodini refer to each other as Chkher Bali. The other major characters are played by Lily Chakrabarti, Raj Lakshmi, Mahendra's mother, Tota Rai Chaudhary as Bihari, Raj Lakshmi's adopted son. The film was later dubbed into Hindi and was released internationally in the language. Chkher Bali, now the story. Binodini is a young girl who is left to her own devices when her sickly husband dies soon after their marriage. She returns to her village and lives there for a couple of months until she sees one of her relatives passing by. Binodini hails the woman and the two sons agree that it would be best if Binodini came to live with the woman and her son, Mahendra. Mahendra was one of the first to see Binodini's photo when she was unwed, yet refused her on account of his being unready for marriage. When the two arrive, Mahendra and his new bride are constantly sneaking off to be alone together. This infatuation does not last long, and Mahendra soon begins to see that Binodini is more his type. An affair starts between Mahendra and Binodini, and this is soon revealed to Ashalata. Asha, unaware of her pregnancy, leaves for Kashi. Binodini, after realizing the self-obsessed personality Mahendra's, leaves Mahendra's house. She pleads with Bihari to marry her, but Bihari, true to his values, rejects her offer. Binodini leaves the town for her village. She writes a letter to Bihari that she will be waiting for him in Kashi. As she is leaving for Kashi, Mahendra comes to mend their relations, which she refuses instead. She makes him promise to take her to Bihari at Kashi. Binodini meets Bihari, who after some incidents agrees to marry her. On the day of marriage, Binodini vanishes, leaving a letter for Asha. This is it. It is the empowered woman. This is Binodini. It is the liberation of women in the Rabinda Sangeet. And in Chkher Bali, which is considered the best film of Satyajit Ray, acclaimed, and it is said every frame filmed in CHARULATA is perfect, and it is the first lesson for any cinema maker. Chkher Bali literally this CHARULATA. The film tells the story of a lonely housewife known as Charu Madhavi Mukherjee, who lives a wealthy, secluded and idle life in 1870s Calcutta. Her husband Bhupati Shailen Mukherjee runs a newspaper, The Sentinel, and spends a lot more time at work than with his wife. However, he notices that Charu is lonely and asks his cousin Amal Soumitra Chatterjee to keep her company. Amal is a writer and is asked to help Charu with her own writing. However, after some time, Charu and Amal's feelings for each other move beyond those of a mentoring relationship as Charu begins a latent sexual attraction towards Amal. Amal is unwilling to betray his cousin's trust that has already suffered to the hands of Charu's swindling brother Umapato. He abruptly leaves, and after Charu hysterically submits to her disappointment in the presence of Vibhuti, there is nothing left but for the forsaken woman, her humiliated husband, to forge a contrived reconciliation. It is the empowered woman. It is the liberation of women in music, and it is all about Rabinda Sangeet. Good morning. No, it is good afternoon. Good afternoon, India. Good afternoon,